What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, okay. Now we can see each other. What? What the heck?
It's positive encouraging Kayla with Jeff and Randy. This is next.
Hold on a moment. Okay. Hold on. I'll be right with you. If you just joined the stream, then you don't know what's going on. Well, if you haven't just joined, then you don't know what's going on. There was You know how I always complain about these stupid kids in my yard? Um, there was someone right now like lingering and like lurking in my at my front door. Like not just on the grass, not on the lawn, like at the front door. Just like leaning there against the wall. And I was like, "What the heck?" Like with an unheard of boldness, like just hanging out right there on the wall. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on with my neighborhood today. Let me get the heck out of here. I don't know what is happening. Um, um, I don't know what's going on. Um, so there's these dumb kids that are always playing around my house, and if you haven't noticed, I don't like kids. um, I can't blame them though. I can't really blame them because these kids are the result of bad parenting. The way that they conduct themselves around my house and just leaving trash everywhere and just like loitering. Like if they had decent parents, they'd be on a tighter leash than that. Um, but this kid was just like hanging out like by my front door, and I was like, what the heck? And like everybody's still home right now, so I was like a little concerned. I was just sitting there staring at him, and he's just like a statue. And I'm thinking, what's he doing? It turns out it looked like these kids look like they could be like 13 years old. I mean, especially this kid. He's a pretty big kid. Looks like he could be a linebacker, if you know what I'm saying. But was that my sister? I think it was. I was concerned, and I was just staring at him, and then I decided to get out and walk over there just to shoo him away. I didn't want to have to say anything to him. It's not really my style. I don't want to be like, "Hey, kid, what's your problem?" Oh, I'm all sweaty. But I figured, it'd be enough if I just went in his direction, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm right at this guy being weird. Let me walk away," and he did. Hopefully that's enough to just, I'm leaving my house right now, but hopefully that's enough to just make me feel weird and not do that anymore. It's just dumb little things like that. Like, who does that? Playing hide and seek? And because we have like this brick wall thing next to our house. And he was like leaning up against it, like totally within our property lines, like absolutely, like right there in our property, like 3 feet away from my front door. Like who has the nerve to do that and not feel intrusive? It's pretty weird. Anyway, I don't know if any of you tuned in earlier and watched the guy said he didn't want to call it a podcast. The thing I did earlier today that I was telling you guys about to tune into. I don't know if any of you saw it. So when I was doing it, I felt like it went horribly wrong. I felt like it was not a good experience. I went and watched it back though, and I was like, for what it is, I think it worked out. It's fine for what it is. It wasn't scripted. It was live. It was a live chat. For what that was, it went fine. But the guy completely blindsided me with this during the chat, he was like, "That's definitely not my sister." During the chat, he was like, he said, "All right, it's time to play a game. I'm gonna ask you, a series of questions or whatever." So he asks me this. He tells me what the name of the game is. So then he's like, "All right, the name of the game." I don't even remember what it was. Honestly, it was like, what was it? It was porn or BJJ. I think is what the game was called. And as soon as those words came out of his mouth, I was like, what? Like the audacity, like just assuming I want to play this game called Porn or BJJ. I'm not gonna have any reservations about that. And then he goes on to describe it, and he's like, "Yeah, the game is I'm gonna list a bunch of things, and they're either gonna be sexual acts or BJJ positions." And I was like, "What the heck, man? Are we 12 years old?" I could not believe I could not believe I could not believe what was happening, and it was very odd. It was very strange. I was very uncomfortable. I'm almost positive I told this guy before too. He asked me weeks and weeks ago when we were talking about doing this initially, because we've been talking about doing this for a while, and he was like, "Do you drink?" And I was like, "No." And I figured he probably wanted to do like a drinking game or I don't know, something like that. And I was like, "Oh no, I don't drink." And then I believe at that point I even told him like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian." Here's what I told him. I told him, assume that I'm like a Mormon. I told him I'm not a Mormon, but I kind of conduct myself like one. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't cuss, I don't, I don't do. Oh shoot, is that gonna explode? I told him I'm not one, but that's kind of how I act. Like, so just assume, that's the bar. And I guess he forgot, or he just didn't care. And all of a sudden we end up playing the sex game. And I was very uncomfortable because on like all of my videos, I have my pastor's always watching. He comments on like all of them. My parents watch. And, I know there's lots of shit. But that's not my style. Not at all. And I've said this before. It's kind of like the way I do things. I don't put out anything that I wouldn't be okay with my kids watching. So, like, if you watch any of the MMA videos, even if there's things you're like, well, what about this thing? If I've made it and I put it out, I'd be okay with my kid watching it. It's just not my style to put out like dirty content. Very uncomfortable